Good morning! Today I would like to talk about a very wonderful and impactful book that I read this last week. It is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Big Magic, Creative Living Beyond Fear, which basically sums up the book. It's talking about being creative and living a creative life without being afraid of said creativity. I never would have picked up this book or never even heard of this book if it had not been for the book club that is run by Morgan Long, and I'll link her YouTube channel down below. She is phenomenal. I love her. She's so sweet and kind, and she lives in Portland, and she just talks about living a cozy, whimsical life, which is exactly what I want to do. And she, through her Patreon, she has a book club called the Society of Sunbeams and Happenstance. Hope I got that correct. And the book for March was Big Magic. I actually had to wait a couple of weeks to get the book because somebody else had it at the library, so I had to request it and then wait. And I wasn't sure what I was going to think about it. I do enjoy reading certain types of self-help books. I don't, well, yeah. Like Gretchen Rubin's books, I love pretty much all of her books that I've read, but I didn't really know what to expect. I opened it and I started reading and it's like, okay, this is really good. Okay, this is really good. Like really, really good. When I am reading, I usually I'll have these little slips of paper at my work, and usually I'll fill up one side with a couple of quotes that I really like, or maybe two sides. I ended up with 4 double-sided notes written as small as I could of different quotes that I loved from this book. And I'm not going to go through all of them in this vlog because I'm planning a blog post which will list all of my favorite quotes from the book. So if you're really interested to know what ones I found the most impactful, the most applicable to me, I will have a link to that blog post down below. But I did want to read one quote really quickly here at the very beginning before I kind of dive into the rest of my thoughts and opinions on this book. And it is, "There is no dishonor in having a job. What is dishonorable is scaring away your creativity by demanding that it pay for your entire existence." In this book, Elizabeth Gilbert kind of talks about how she identifies creativity in a different way, and she identifies creative life and reframes it. And one of the big things that she talks about is, well, I suppose there's kind of 2 big things. And one of those is that up until, more like the Reformation or whatever, people didn't refer to writers, artists, whatever, as being geniuses. They referred to them as having geniuses or having inspiration, as being this sort of separate fairy-like almost spirit that provided the creative inspiration. And in that way, it separated you from being too puffed up and arrogant, because if your work succeeded, it wasn't completely you, it was your geniuses. Or if it was a complete flop, well, you had a kind of bad genius. And I really like that. I thought that was a very interesting way of framing it, to kind of think about creativity in a different light, or inspiration in a different light. The other big thing that she really talked about that really stuck out to me was where she talked about how so many, whether you're a painter or writer or a musician or anything that is in the creative bubble, there's this certain stigma that you must be suffering and miserable and agonizing, and it must be really difficult and hard, and the process must just make you sad and depressed and melancholy. And if it doesn't, you're not doing it right. You're not really being properly creative. This is definitely true in my life, where I have tried to make myself be very serious, and I don't know, it's almost like this cloud of creative, you must be this more angsty personality in order to be a true creative person. She offers this alternate option of saying, well, why don't you think about it as throw that away. It's okay to have fun. It's okay to be whimsical and cheerful and happy and excited about your work. And yes, it's going to be hard work. Being optimistic about your creative whatever it is doesn't mean that it's not going to be difficult, that it's not going to be hard. But instead of kind of forcing ourselves inside of this box of artist life, whatever you will, that we can think about it and reframe it and accept the happiness and the joy that comes with it and be excited and enthusiastic about everything, and not just your specific creative occupation. Whoops, just kicking my tripod. But about everything, and just, oh, that hit home for me so much. When I was a child, I was definitely that one of those bubbly, cheery, enthusiastic, excited little kids that would go running to the other little kid at the pool and say, "Hey, would you like to be friends?" And then I'd hit kind of that teenage hormone phase that all of us go through, and got really sad and really depressed and whatnot, and the people around me were like, "Oh, why aren't you happy anymore?" And then it just kind of over time became this, I guess you could say, almost a protective shield. Like, this was my personality. Emily is the one that is sad and depressed and upset and unenthusiastic, and my nicknames were like Eeyore. If you haven't seen Winnie the Pooh or you're not familiar with it, Eeyore is the donkey who's always just very monotone and pessimistic. And that just kind of became my personality. And I feel like I've been slowly, without really realizing it, kind of coming outside of that over the past few years. And I will say that the circumstances around my life have definitely not helped with bursting outside of that bubble. But just reading this book was like a breath of fresh air. It was almost like you have permission to be bubbly and cheerful and enthusiastic. And it hit home so much. I would just be sitting there at my desk at work just reading it and have to like stop for half a second and stare out the window and just be like, oh my gosh. Oh, it was so good. And then the quote that I read to you, there was a section where she talked about how she kept a job even through writing and having like 3 or 4 books published, because she never wanted to make her creativity have to bear up with sustaining her life. And guys, I've been so guilty of that. So much so. I've tried to think about my creative stuff with YouTube or Instagram or my blog or even sewing or knitting or anything else. I have tried to think about that in the frame and the lens or the box of this must provide. I want to be able to quit my job so I can live and have my true calling. And oh, she wrote about that and the way that she spoke about it. And there was another one where she talked about her dad, where he was a chemical engineer, I believe, for like 40 years. But on the side, I think he loved gardening and like bees. And he didn't just give up his job to pursue gardening and bees and beekeeping or whatever and try to use that and force that to sustain his life. No, he worked for 40 years, and just the phrasing that she used, where he gently folded his creative endeavors into his life. Like, he didn't just stop working his job. Oh, that hit me. That hit me right where it hurts. I was like, this is what I've been doing. I have been murdering my creativity by trying to turn it into something that will sustain me, that will provide for me, provide for Micah, provide for our family and our future. And no wonder it has felt like such a slog, such a difficult thing, where it feels like this constant uphill battle. Like, it was just really, really, really good. I feel like it kind of opened the floodgates, if you will. It gave me permission to keep my job and do my creative stuff on the side, and that is okay. That is still completely and totally pursuing the good and the beautiful without trying to force it to be something that it's not. And it also just, in a way, it gave me permission to just be cheerful, to be bubbly and enthusiastic and smile and take care of myself and try and be as happy and healthy and ridiculously zealous and excited for life as I humanly possibly can be. And it's so good. It's so refreshing. It was just like, I would come home and I would talk to Mike and I'd be like, it almost makes me want to cry, because it's this element of just be happy and it's okay. And not only is it okay, but it is phenomenal. Like, this is our life. this is all that we have. And if we spend all of our time just being sad and brooding and trying to be something that deep down we're not, let's just be happy and excited to be alive, even if it's just tiny little ordinary things like reading books or writing blog posts or doing the simple creative things that we love that give our life fullness. Like, let's just be enthusiastic. Goodness, just blabbing away here, but I really do recommend, if you do any type of creative things, doesn't matter what, I highly recommend this book. It was so good, and it's very easy reading. It's very the way that it's spaced out, I was able to just blitz through it so quickly, and at the same time just like I couldn't eat or do other things really at the same time that I was reading it, because I knew that within a couple seconds I was going to need to grab my pen and write down another quote, and it was really good. The other cool thing, I'll link it down below as well. I didn't realize this, but Elizabeth Gilbert also has a couple of TED Talks, and I started listening to part of one and I really want to finish it. But if you don't have time to read the book is sort of based off a couple of her TED Talks that she did, and one of them I know is just like, it's like 19 minutes long or something, so it would be really easy to listen to it while you're doing something else. So I do highly recommend it. If you don't have time to read the book, at least check out the discussion lecture that she did, because just a little bit that I watched, I was at work so I couldn't watch all of it really. Probably shouldn't have been watching any of it, but shh. Just a little bit that I watched was really good, and it was a lot of the same things that she talked about in this book. But I'm gonna go ahead and end things here. Again, check this out, check out her talk. Check out Morgan Long. She's also awesome, and if you would like to be part of her Patreon, she does have that book club like I mentioned. She also has a higher tier, which I believe is about $25 a month for her video lessons, and I'm thinking about maybe for April or May doing the higher level so I can watch her lessons, because I think that'd be really fun. Like, she seems the type of person that you would want to have as a teacher. I will link all of that down below, but just embrace cheerfulness, embrace enthusiasm about life and the world, because this is where we are, this is where we're at, and there's so much to learn and so much to do, and life is so hard sometimes that it's the little moments, the little things that we need to embrace and be excited about, because let me tell you guys, my life has not been an easy one. There have been ups and downs, and there have been times where I have gone through severe depression, and it's been rough, but I don't want to let that weigh me down and burden me and stop me from living life to the fullest potential. So I challenge and I encourage you, and I want you to know that you are doing a fantastic job. You are doing so well just by waking up and getting up and doing things and taking care of yourself and your family. Like, you are doing so good, and there's so much that you are capable of. You are just going to be marvelous. So I hope that you're doing well, that you're doing healthy, and that you are truly taking care of yourself. And yeah, I'm so excited to see what I'm gonna learn and be able to do now that I'm determined to let my creativity outside of the box that I've stuffed it into. And I will see you on the next one. Bye. I really need to blow my nose. Why is it that every time I start filming, I need to blow my nose? I don't understand why this happens. It's really, really not cool.